All right, so going back to the zeros of society, and I really hate talking about this because it gives off an odor of narcissism to use that statement, and I really don't want to offend anybody by saying that and so make them think like that I'm some asshole. I'm making this video to be genuinely helpful. Okay. Um, there's a lot of historical examples of zeros. You have the people who are at zero, pretty close to zero, like the Columbine shooters. You have um, and you know um, the, the Sandy Hook um, perpetrators. The perpetrator did the South Carolina um, church and stuff. You have so many people that have um, done heinous things um, because the zero-ness kind of became permanent, like an embedded thing, or it got mistreated, out of control, or ignored, or stuff. Um, I did some reading, and a lot of the times this type of thing, like just talking the extreme case, this has to do with substance abuse, cognitive disability, um, sometimes intellectual disability, um, and hold on, I gotta go back to the document because I'm having a stressful conversation at the same time. Super stressful conversation. You have major depression, antisocial personality disorder, um, which is very broad. PTSD. Um, yeah, so those are the people who are zeros or very close to zeros, maybe 10 or 20%. Um, and then you have just people that find themselves in a lot of trouble in other ways, or they're just real. They just lose out and stuff. They lose out in one way or another, and um, so for part two of this, I wanted to talk about more of what can be done for these guys or these people. Um, Honestly, I don't know too much about the women's side of it and stuff. But I know for the guys and stuff, I'm just gonna go back to the part where I was talking about about like staying in your competitive league or tier, and try not to get committed, and just work your way up and stuff if that's what you need and stuff. Because at a I've seen it at a certain rung and stuff. Nothing's permanent or sticks anyway and stuff, and it could just be more pain. Um, you know, a lot of people, a lot of guys, they never really find the language and interaction scheme to start changing things around for them and start seeing different outcomes and stuff. To start seeing a clientele at work, or to start seeing better winning interactions with their coworkers and stuff, and with their personal relationships. And it's a shame, and for everybody, it's different. So it's very respective to the culture that you're trying to thrive in. Um, but the harsh reality of it is that if if you're not developmental and stuff, you may stay at that rung or just drop low to 0%. You know, um, which can happen in many different ways. You know, people have done that by dying. So dying is a possibility. Um, People have found themselves in handcuffs, or or with a fine that breaks their finances and stuff. Something like that. Or they lose their spouse or kids, um, their best friend, whatever. You know, so that's the reason for this video and stuff. So again, I wasn't trying to be narcissistic and stuff. Or trying to put myself on a high horse and make it seem like I just have so many things figured out and stuff. I'm just sharing what I do have figured out and stuff. And again, you want to separate the message from the messenger. But yeah, that's part 2 for this. And I guess if I have to like model things to make things more clear and stuff, I will later. But yeah.